Board of Trustees and also a member of the University Council. And in that capacity, that's why I'm saying thank you to UCA for accepting to bring this event here. But I'm not here to speak on behalf of KIU. I know the Vice Chancellor will be coming and to grace this event, most likely after me. He will speak on behalf of KIU. I'm here as a resource person who has been asked to share with you insights. I don't come from your background. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor, as it were, professionally speaking. And even what I claim to be, I am not by profession. And decided to go back to school because a question was disturbing me. So I went to Uganda Masters University in '99 to do a master's degree in development studies. And the question that was disturbing me was, this education that we are getting and supplying to people, is it a tool of development or it is a factor of underdevelopment? Is the teaching fact, this was the question in my mind, isn't this education contributing to underdevelopment instead of being a tool of development? Because of what I had found in the field, by then as development coordinator for the diocese, by then the diocese had 2 districts. It was one district, Mukono district. Now it is split into 2, Mukono and Kainga, but by then it was one district. So I would traverse that whole district. And I would reach out, because as development coordinator, I was responsible for designing development programs for communities, and then doing reach out. But whenever I would go to the villages, the communities, I would find young people who speak fluent English. Now, generally speaking, by our standards, if you meet someone who speaks fluent English, most likely they have served a number of years on the school bench or chair. Most likely. And my curiosity would lead me to ask them, so, up to what level did you go? People would say, oh yeah, I dropped out in senior 5, another senior 4, senior 2, P7, P5. Now, what staggered me was this. The guy who dropped out in senior 6, and the one who dropped out in senior 4, and the one who dropped out in senior 2, their condition of life is the same. That became a puzzle to me, it disturbed me. I said, but they are all the same. Except in my village, I remember there was someone who had graduated in senior 4. This is the guy who had the most cases in the whole community. And he would not work. He would wake up in the morning, he comes to the training center with very clean sandals, sapato. As the rest are completely barefooted, at least for him, he comes with things. And he's in the training center from morning up to night, just yapping. He's talking. He's the one who knows this problem. So I asked myself, there must be a problem. If the extra years that someone studied from S2 to senior 4 do not make a difference, because the senior 2 dropout is the same as senior 4 dropout, the senior 4 dropout same as senior 6 dropout, then there's a problem. That's how I resigned my job and went back to open more books and do research and find out what is the problem. So even when I finished my master's in 2000, a second accident in teaching happened to me. They asked me to stay at Uganda Masters University to teach. So I stayed. and college. And in the process, I fell in love with teaching. I love education so much. And because I love education so much, I stopped teaching in the classroom in 2005. Because if you want me to be honest with you, I saw Chamagere was very honest here with his radical ideas. Very radical, and he accepts that, and it's okay. As long as someone declares himself so and is aware that his ideas are radical, they are unconventional, and that's okay. So I am radical also. I don't believe in this schooling that you guys are getting. I don't believe that. It's a big lie. I still stand by what I wrote in my master's dissertation in 2000. There's a Mzungu who fell in love with it and put it. He asked me, soft copy, and put it online. And I know that some universities that were using it to teach their teachers on education and development. So because I don't agree with it, that's why I don't teach anymore in the classroom. But at the same time, I'm part of it. But only at the level where I know I can have a bigger influence. And it takes time. It takes time. But I want my conscience, Dr. Felipe, I want my conscience to be clear. At least I don't want to be part of those who are in the classroom. And I'm very happy. You will think I'm digressing, I'm giving a long introduction. I have only 2 points to make. I'll make them and disappear. It's in my best interest actually to get out of here as soon as possible. I'm very happy that finally government of Uganda has got it right. The problem is being fixed once and for all. They have figured it out. I'll tell you the good news. The past 2 days I've been attending virtually. There's a conference happening, I think it's closing today at Mukiibi. It's an international conference by National Curriculum Development Center. When you see what government has done with the primary school curriculum and the secondary school curriculum, they haven't completed, but already with what they have done and what they are planning to do. If we implement what they have done, the problems of education in this country will be sorted. Once and for all. All these things we cry about, they are taken care of. The reason why I ran out of the classroom to teach, it has been taken care of. That is the good news. The bad news is this. And I was telling the people in higher education recently that unfortunately, the students now who are studying under the new curriculum in secondary school, those who are now in senior 3, 3, 2, and 1. When they cross to university or whatever higher education institution, they are going to face a demotion in life. Because right now, as we speak, the quality of education they are undertaking is far superior to the quality of education we have in universities. Yes. This thing is still jumbled up. You can quote me. This university thing, still jumbled up. A lot of unprofessionalism, a lot of lack of focus. There, they have sorted it. Now, because it is not yet sorted, I suspect that's why many of you have this question. Naikati, okay, enroll, we have studied, these things are very interesting and nice. After university, what next? Some of you have that question, right? Well, I helped you a number of years ago. To be precise, 20 years ago, I wrote a book. In 2003, I wrote the first edition of this book. After university, what next? 2008, I upgraded to second edition. 2018, I upgraded it to third edition. This is the third edition. And I was helping you and the people then in your position to answer that question at a personal level. Because you know what? The system is not, you are not going to wait for the system. Are you? You are not going to wait for the system. I want to pause for a moment and ask the question. So why is this important? What's the problem? Why do you want to talk about the transition from campus to the world of work? What's the problem with it? I thought it was a natural thing. You finish, you go and cross over. Is there any problem with that? Is there not common sense? So I'm asking the question, what's the problem? I thought that transitioning from school to the world of work is obvious, it's common sense. So why do you want us to talk about it? Is there a problem with it? Yeah? If you have a problem with it, you raise up your hand and articulate the problem, then that will guide me to say whatever I should say. Is there a problem? If there is no problem, I better say bye and yeah. One, job opportunities. What's the problem with the job opportunities? Do we have a second one? No, I want to have the problem statement clear so that I stick to it. Yes?
When we come to the community, it is hard to identify in most cases what we are good at in order to make a living. And in most cases, we normally end into the community, we start looking for jobs, and yet we are impacted with the knowledge, we have the knowledge, we have the matter, but again to put it down and to practice, it becomes hard.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I see the hands are coming up now. Yes, someone help me to take around this mic.
Thank you. When we get out of university, we get...
Sorry, which year are you?
I'm a finalist.
Finalist.
When we get out of university, we get stressed for various reasons. Number one, we have literally lost an income source, that is our parents.
An income source.
Because now they see you as an adult, you're done with school, and they do not see any other reason to continue giving you money. So you are now out, you are thinking of business ideas, you even think of starting up a police station. You want something that will give you money because you have to sustain your life. You are diving into various careers, jumping from one to the other, and that alone is enough to stress you out. So I really think we need guidance on transitioning from campus then to the world of work.
Thank you. I like your sense of humor. And what's your name?
Rachel Nakato.
From which university?
Jambo
University.
Yes.
I like your sense of humor. Fantastic. Starting up a police station. Yes.
The main reason I put on the forefront is wrong career choices that we make.
Wrong career choices that we make.
Yes.
So by career choice, what do you mean?
You find a student maybe doing sciences just because he or she was performing well. But the fact is, this student only has skills in maybe arts. You find, I used to tell people that I did psychology, not because I wanted to do psychology, but because the government made the choice for me. And I found myself in Lira University. But my aim was I had a dream of starting up a big company. I was seeing myself successfully the side of business, entrepreneurship. That was my passion. But then finding myself doing community psychology and psychotherapy, like, what am I going to do here?
So which year are you now?
I finalized with it.
You finalized with it?
Yes.
Do you still have the same disturbance that, yeah, you ended up inside?
Not really. I now don't regret.
You don't?
I can balance both sides. I am an entrepreneur, and at the same time, a counselor, a mental health advocate.
Thank you very much for kindly expressing yourself and sharing with us. And even before I go any further with other submissions, I want to break the good news to you that actually there is no contradiction at all, as I'll be explaining. There's no contradiction, no loss whatsoever. You are at a gaining end. I'll explain that. Let's pass on. I just need, I'll take 3 more hands and then proceed.
Thank you so much, Mr. Presenter.
Yes.
I'm called Grace Mukiibi from Mukiibi University. But my point is not very far from the previous speakers.
Yes.
I see that students are not guided from their childhood. Career guidance is the biggest problem. Students are not given the opportunity to pursue their interest, their ability, their aptitude, and what they can do. Parents choose for them, teachers choose for them, and we've seen so many students in different universities finishing their first degrees and said, "Mommy, here's your degree, Daddy, here's your degree, you wanted me to be a doctor, but I don't feel myself being a doctor, and I go to music." So it's very important that career guidance is done as early as possible. If this is addressed by the Ugandan government, I think a lot will be solved. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll take 2 more. There's a gentleman here, so the lady there, and then finally, yes.
Thank you, sir. I'm Mukiibi from Chama University, pursuing Bachelor of Guidance and Counseling. I think it's important because some of us who are still in study, we think it's so easy for us after studying immediately get into the what? Into jobs. But then it would be very important, like if you get that guidance, like when you do a job and then you meet some new things through that transition, that maybe you don't feel like as if you're failed. So it's very important that we know such things might come, or maybe if you meet this new structure, you have to go with it. Maybe you have to be found. Thank you.
Thank you, and finally, yes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mukiibi from Kampala International University. So, Mr. Kibuuka, before we even proceed to talk about transitioning from university, one of the big challenges I'm facing, and even my colleagues, is even finding placement for practicum, the right place to even do your practicum. And one of the suggestions I made previously, the fact that we have people that have gone ahead of us and they paved the way. In my former secondary school, we did work experience, that's what they called it, during the first term holiday as a senior 6 student.
Which school is that?
Taiba College, which is now Taiba International. They would find you placement. And I can swear to you, if it was not from the effort of our leaders, we probably would not have gotten to some of these places. So I think if we can also find a way to merge the social capital that, for example, you have built on to be able to help us to get there. So for me, before I'm even talking about transitioning, there is the practicum. it's hard, it's tough. So.
Thank you. But put yourself in my place here where I'm standing, and I'm asked to talk about this transition from campus to the world of work, and I'm asking myself, what's the problem?
For example, the problem is all the people that I have written out to have not gotten a single response. So is it the way I'm writing? I don't understand as of now.
Thank you. There's just one gentleman, his hand has been itching up. The gentleman right there, with the white t-shirt. Yes, you are the only bonus in the audience. Then I'll proceed.
Yes, my name is Kataragan Kolas, Chambo University.
Chambo seems to be well represented. Yes. Or maybe they are the most confident. Should I say that? No, anyway, just yeah.
Our expectations do not match with the reality. You have said that you got accidents after you...
In quotes, yes. Yeah.
Yes, in quotes.
Yeah.
Now, I also got accidents. After Form 4...
We are talking about career accidents, Prof. Yeah, okay.
After Form 4, I thought I would go and maybe get a job during the work. But unluckily enough, I didn't get it. I went to village Hoima and began digging, helping my parents. After Form 6, I thought I would get a job also, at least of teaching. But still, even when I applied, they told me they wanted professionals. I didn't get the job. I didn't get money. That was also another accident. Now I'm a finalist at Chambo University. I'm worried. I'm going to get another accident.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Katerina. And as you can see, I talked about my case as accidents, but as you can see, I'm very proud of those accidents. Then if you gave me another chance to choose, I would not choose anything else but be a teacher. I wouldn't. So these accidents, these are not necessarily bad news. Sometimes you discover yourself. In my case, I discovered myself that this is where I am supposed to be. And I think I've made my humble contribution there. Now, I want to refer to Bahati's presentation. When she was asked questions, I was seated behind there, and one of the responses she gave is that you must reflect. The discipline, I saw the nun nodding here because that is something that they are in their formation. It is part of it. Automatically you become someone who reflects in life. Because every day you have moments of what in Latin they call silentium manuum, dead silence. To do nothing but reflect. And when it becomes a discipline, it leads you into something that also, I think Bahati talked about, self-awareness. A deep sense of self-awareness. Now, if you are someone, and now I'm talking to you regardless of whether you think you studied the wrong thing or because you are here, you cannot change it. You cannot change the past. And you are here now in the present with whatever mistakes and accidents that have happened. And you have to move forward. So I'm not here to lament or do post-mortem. I'm here to help you project forward. Yeah? The way you are under the circumstances. So, there is a prayer I like a lot, and I want to give it to you. It has 3 points, and you can use it. Actually, when you go online, you can find it in Google there. If you go to Google Images, you find it beautiful. It's called the Serenity Prayer. And that prayer, it says, God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. So can you change the fact that you studied what you have studied? Can you change the fact that the economy is the way it is? Can you change the fact that when you write to organizations to get placement, some of them don't even respond? You can't change that. So, the serenity to accept what you cannot change. Serenity means peace of mind. The second point in that prayer is the courage to change the things I can change. So you're asking God to give you the courage to change the things you can change. And then the third point in the prayer is the wisdom to know the difference between the things you can change and the things you cannot change. So that's the starting point. For you to understand, there are things you cannot change, there are things you can change, but you need courage to change them, and you need to know the difference between the things you can change and the things that you cannot change. Secondly, that is the serenity prayer, point 1. Secondly, we have a challenge that throughout the studying, we are not introduced to the discipline that would enable us not to sleepwalk through life. What do I mean? Sometimes the very job you are looking for, you are stepping on it and you move forward, and yet you can't see it. Sometimes the most brilliant opportunities that you have in the world of work are within your reach, but you cannot recognize them because they are disguised sometimes as problems. Bahati talked about the X, Generation X, then the Millennials, and then the Generation Z or Z. And she explained how the three are very different. I'm Generation X. Unfortunately, I don't look at TikTok the typical way Generation X looks at it, for example. It's a serious, powerful, life-changing tool. That's how I see it. And all these other social medias. So, this thing of transitioning from school to the world of work, it's a common sense affair. Common sense. But do you know what makes us miss that common sense? There is a mindset that we have. What is that mindset? I am what I studied. Can I repeat that? I am what I studied. That's not true. How many of you are doing counseling psychology? Then how many of you are doing, what else? What other programs are represented in this audience? Social work. Guidance and counseling. Social sciences. Social sciences. Clinical psychology. Community psychology. Okay. So, the skill that you need most is a skill. No, I'm confusing now two audiences. Yes, someone talked about it yesterday in the conference. To know how to problematize life. I'm going to explain that. To know how to problematize life. To know how to come to a place or to an audience like this and be able to identify gaps or missing links. So, but this room, the way it's organized, is this the best it could be? Perhaps I was talking about some of you studying counseling, but you are not counselors. You are interior designers. Some. That's where your thing is. But you happen to have studied counseling psychology or whatever. It is. So, I'm here to repeat the point to you. You are not what you have studied, but what you have studied